My wife called a family meeting to intervene on my failure in front of our kids. Her father read a list, unambitious, weak, emotionally boring. My 10-year-old asked if they could get a better dad. I just smiled, packed a small bag, and left without a word. That was 6 months ago. This morning, my doorbell camera caught her sobbing, holding our wedding album, screaming, "Please come home." I didn't say anything when my son asked if they could get a better dad. I didn't react when my father-in-law insulted me in front of my daughters. I just smiled, stood up from the living room carpet like I was waking from a long sleep, and walked out of my own life. That was 6 months ago. This morning, at 6:17 a.m., my doorbell camera recorded a woman clawing at my front step, mascara smeared, cradling our wedding album like a corpse. That woman was my wife. Let me rewind. The intervention happened on a Sunday. I'd made pancakes. Blueberry for Ellie, plain for Tom, gluten-free for Laura, even though none of us believed she actually had celiac. I was still in my gym clothes. My plan was yard work and maybe a lazy afternoon nap. Instead, my wife told me we were having a family meeting. That phrase should have tipped me off. We'd never had one before. I walked into the living room to find her parents seated upright on our couch like corporate auditors. My wife stood beside the TV, remote in hand, like she was about to present a TED Talk. Our 3 kids, 10, 8, and 6, were seated in a line on the floor, unnervingly quiet, hands folded like it was Sunday school. "Please sit," she said. I did. Next to Tom, who leaned away from me like I smelled. Then her dad pulled out a sheet of paper. The list. Unambitious, he began. Weak. Emotionally boring. Sloppy. Each word was a nail. He read like he was delivering a eulogy for my manhood. And my wife? She nodded along. My kids? They didn't look confused. They looked prepared. I realized then it wasn't a meeting. It was an execution. Her mom chimed in. "You never stepped up. Laura's doing it all alone. Tom, you don't yell. Ever. It's weird. Ellie, you forgot my field trip money again." Then Laura turned to me and said, like she'd been practicing in a mirror, "You've become a drain. On this family. On me." I opened my mouth. Then Tom asked if they could get a better dad. Not angry. Just curious. That's when I smiled. The moment stretched. I think they thought I was going to apologize. Break down. Make promises. That's what this was all designed for. A grovel. Instead, I stood up. Walked upstairs. Packed a gym bag, underwear, hoodie, toothbrush, my passport. Grabbed my phone and wallet. Laura followed. Asked what the hell I thought I was doing. "Giving you what you want," I said. She laughed. Thought I was bluffing. I walked past her. Past the stunned kids. Past her father muttering, "Coward." I didn't slam the door. Didn't say goodbye. Just left. No contact. No lawyers. No social media drama. I checked out. The motel I stayed in for the first week smelled like bleach and stale cigarettes. I paid in cash. Changed phones. Got a night job cleaning medical equipment. Found a roommate through a Craigslist ad, an old butcher named Ray who used to be a gospel singer. I didn't cry. Not once. What I did do. Started recording. Every thought. Every moment. Every feeling. Not for revenge. For clarity. Because here's the part that'll twist your stomach. I believed them. At first. I believed I'd failed. That maybe being kind, present, quiet, attentive, maybe it wasn't enough. Maybe I really was emotionally boring. Sloppy. Weak. But you spend enough time alone, in a room with no distractions, and the noise dies down. What's left? Truth. Ray had a saying, shame's just the voice of people who can't carry their own. The more I thought, the more I realized something sick. That meeting? That wasn't the first time. It was just the first time with witnesses. Laura had been doing small cuts for years. Gaslighting me into thinking I was less than. Using the kids like mirrors to reflect back only my worst moments. And I let her. Because I loved her. Because I thought love was staying. Even when it hurt. Even when she said things like, "God, I miss dating men who wanted things." Or, "Maybe if you made more money, I'd still want to sleep with you." You tell yourself it's just words. Until one day you realize you've been buried under them. That was 6 months ago. Since then, I've rebuilt. New job. Better one. Moved into a sublet that doesn't leak. I lift now. Not to look better. To feel like I exist in my body again. I talk to a therapist. I read books I used to skip. I sit by rivers just to remember what silence without accusation sounds like. And today, this morning, I got an alert on my phone. Doorbell camera triggered. I clicked it without thinking. And there she was. Laura. On her knees. In the rain. Holding our wedding album. Screaming like her ribs had cracked open. "Please come home." I didn't move. Didn't speak. Just watched. Watched the house she built on control and contempt finally start to burn. And I felt nothing. Not hate. Not victory. Just peace. Update 1. It took her 7 minutes to stop screaming. I watched the whole thing through the camera feed. She clutched the wedding album like it could resurrect something. Like it had blood instead of paper. She'd flip a page, scream some memory into the rain, slap the next page like it had betrayed her. And then, when her knees finally buckled, she started whispering. I had to turn up the volume to catch it. "Tom misses you. Ellie said she's sorry. I didn't mean please, please." She stayed on my porch for 15 more minutes. Left the album on the doormat tucked under a rock. Got in her car, headlights off. Drove away like a ghost trying not to disturb the dead. I made tea. Didn't touch the album. Just stared at it through the peephole. Then I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. Please pick up. They want to talk to you. No name. But the grammar told me it was Ellie. I didn't respond. Instead, I sat down and wrote everything I remembered from that day. Word for word. I typed for 6 hours straight. Because it's easy to forget when people cry. It's easy to let your guard down when the same mouth that called you a burden now calls you baby. But here's what I haven't forgotten. 3 weeks before the intervention, Laura canceled my birthday dinner. Said she forgot. Said she'd make it up to me. She didn't. She left a half-eaten cake from Safeway on the counter, plastic wrap still on. It had happy birthday to someone scrawled in red gel. Someone. Not even my name. Tom asked if he could have a slice. I said yes. He took the biggest piece, laughed, said, at least someone gets something from you. Laura didn't correct him. She laughed too. The cake was gone in an hour. They didn't save me a single bite. That night, I sat in the garage. Not crying. Just unraveling. You don't have to scream at someone to break them. You just have to teach them their furniture. Replaceable. Decorative. Something to be judged for gathering dust. And for years, I believed that. I believed my worth was measured in how well I absorbed impact. How little I pushed back. So when I left, I didn't expect anything. No fight. No chase. Just silence. And for 6 months, that's what I got. Until 3 days ago. Ellie's school counselor called me. She didn't know I'd blocked Laura. Said she got my number from an emergency form I filled out years ago. Said Ellie had been skipping lunch. Not in a protest way. In a I'm not hungry way. Said she broke down during art class when someone drew a picture of a house. I thanked the counselor. Didn't say much. That night, I drove by our old house. The porch lights were off. The yard overgrown. Tom's bike rusting in the rain. The swing I built with my own hands 2 summers ago under blistering heat while Laura supervised was split. Rotted. I watched the windows. No laughter. No cartoons. Just stillness. I left after 10 minutes. Didn't knock. Didn't want to know if they'd hear it. Then this morning came. Laura's breakdown. And now? Now I know she's losing control. Which means it's time to talk about the letters. Because while she was spinning her version of events while I stayed silent, she was also busy rewriting the narrative in more dangerous ways. Letters started showing up at my work mailbox. No return address. Typed. Clean. The first one said, "You've abandoned your children. A man who leaves without a word doesn't deserve them back." The second one said, "Do your coworkers know you're emotionally unstable? That you're hiding from consequences?" The third, "If you try to contact the kids again, we will take legal action." We. Like she had a team. A jury. A damn firing squad behind her. I didn't respond. Instead, I filed each one. Photocopied. Scanned. Emailed to myself under a burner. Ray, my roommate, wanted me to file a restraining order. But I told him, this isn't the storm yet. This is the wind changing. Then came the unexpected shift. Tom found me. He showed up outside the clinic I work at on Thursdays. Just standing there. Hoodie soaked. Shoulders stiff. Didn't say a word. He looked taller. Eyes darker. Like someone who'd seen too much. When I walked outside, he didn't hug me. Just said, "Why didn't you fight?" And I swear, I've never wanted to scream more than in that moment. I wanted to grab his face, shake his shoulders, shout because I thought you wanted me gone. But I didn't. I just said, "Do you want pancakes?" He nodded. We sat at a booth for 2 hours. Ate like strangers pretending not to be. He told me everything. How Laura keeps pretending I'm on a work trip. How her dad moved in to help. How Ellie cries at night but hides it behind headphones. How Laura has a new friend, a man, who brings wine and talks down to them like they're interns at his job. I asked Tom if he felt safe. He shrugged. Then said, "I feel invisible." That was when I made the decision. I'm not going back. But I am going forward. There's a difference. Because going back means returning to a house where love was conditional. Going forward means finding out what kind of father I can be when I'm not being used as a human sponge for other people's failures. So here's what's next. I'm filing for partial custody. I have documentation. Letters. Voicemails. Financials. I've kept everything. Ray's cousin is a family attorney. We've already had our first consultation. And when I told her everything, showed her the camera footage, the letters, the counselor's voicemail, she looked at me and said, "You're not weak. You're just done being lied about. I'll take it." As for the wedding album, it's still outside. I haven't touched it. I think I'll leave it there. Let the rain blur the faces. Let the wind peel the pages. Sometimes, the best thing you can do with a shrine is let it rot. Update 2. The wedding album's gone. I didn't bring it in. Didn't touch it. Just let it sit there for days. Sun warped it. Wind flipped its pages. Eventually, someone took it. I hope it was a stray dog or a confused neighbor. Either way, it's not my relic anymore. But that's not why I'm writing this. This update isn't about the album. It's about the voicemail Laura left last night. The first 5 seconds were static. Then her voice quiet, flat. You've made your point. You win. Are you happy? She sounded like someone trying to sound calm. Then she said something I haven't stopped hearing since. I told Tom you left because you were sick. I said you had a breakdown, that you weren't safe to be around. But now he doesn't look at me the same. Pause. I think I broke something. In him. She started crying. But not like before, not the performative sobs on the porch. This was something uglier. Gasps, silences. Like she was drowning and didn't want help. Then came the worst part. I told Ellie I lied. Those words didn't land. They exploded. She asked if the family meeting was real. I told her yes. That we planned it. She just walked out. Locked herself in the bathroom for hours. Wouldn't come out until I said I was sorry. I listened to the whole message 3 times. Then I saved it. Because I knew what was coming next. The apology arc. The redemption tour. Laura isn't stupid. She knows how to pivot. When shame doesn't work, she tries guilt. When guilt doesn't work, she tries grief. And when grief fails, she tries love. Today, I got flowers. From her. No note. Just a receipt from a local boutique with her card info barely scratched out. 2 dozen white roses. I left them on Ray's truck. He asked if he could give them to his daughter's grave. I said yes. Because those flowers weren't meant for healing. They were bait. I'm not biting. Instead, I want to tell you about the meeting with my lawyer. It wasn't dramatic. No courtroom drama. Just a fluorescent-lit office and a stack of papers. She asked if I wanted to pursue full custody. I said no. She asked why. I told her because I want my kids to know they have a choice. I never got one. We're filing for joint legal with primary physical. It's a move, not a war. But Laura will treat it like an invasion. My lawyer's already heard from hers. Apparently, Laura is now accusing me of emotional abandonment. Claims I traumatized the kids by leaving without explanation. Which, yeah, she's not wrong. It was traumatic, but not for the reasons she's spinning. Tom wasn't traumatized because I left. He was traumatized because I stayed too long. Ellie wasn't hurt by my silence. She was hurt because she watched the person who tucked her in every night get dissected in front of her and no one stopped it. I know how Laura's lawyer will play it. Unstable. Irresponsible. Absent. But I've kept everything. The doorbell footage. The voicemail. The counselor's call. Even screenshots from when Laura posted on a mom forum asking if it was okay to stage an intervention for a passive husband in front of kids. She called it therapeutic. The comments were horrifying. One woman wrote, "Sometimes shame is the only thing that works." Another, "Children need to see weakness to know what not to become." That thread has since been deleted. But I've got it archived. Like I said, this isn't revenge. This is pattern recognition. And patterns leave trails. Tonight, something else happened. Ellie called me. Not from Laura's phone. From a friend's. Said she snuck away during a play date. Whispered the whole time, "Daddy, can I ask you something?" I said yes. "Were you sad when I said I wanted a better dad?" I closed my eyes. And I told her the truth. "I wasn't sad, sweetheart. I was broken." Silence. Then I didn't mean it. I wanted to tell her it was okay. That I forgave her. But I didn't. Because it wasn't her that needed forgiving. It was me. For staying quiet that long. For letting her grow up thinking her words didn't have power. We talked for 20 minutes. She told me Laura's new friend yells when the dishes aren't done. That he once grabbed Tom's arm too hard. That Laura told them not to mention it. My stomach turned. I asked if she felt scared. She paused. Said, "Not when you're talking." So here's what's next. I'm not just filing for custody. I'm filing for a welfare check. My lawyer's already prepping the paperwork. Because now it's not just about what Laura said. It's about what she let into their lives after I left. I'm not walking away again. Not quietly. Not politely. Not to keep the peace in a house where peace is a hostage situation. I don't know how this ends. Maybe she burns everything down. Maybe the courts side with her. Maybe I lose. But even if I lose the case, I've already won something bigger. My kids know I'm real. Not perfect. Not invincible. Not always present. But real. And Laura? She knows I'm not afraid of her anymore. Final update coming when the hearing's done. Until then, I'm still building. And this time, no one's invited to tear it down. Update 3. The custody hearing was 2 weeks ago. I walked in wearing a navy jacket with a stitched tear under the left sleeve, barely visible unless you knew where to look. I didn't fix it. That tear's been there since Tom's 3rd birthday when he tried to climb me like a tree during cake time and ripped it with a Spider-Man ring. Laura wore white. Of course she did. She brought her lawyer, her mother, and a printed binder thicker than a Bible. Her father wasn't there. Rumor has it he collapsed during a golf game 3 days prior. Stroke. Still recovering. Karma with a 9-iron. I came alone. My lawyer waited inside. The judge was a woman in her 50s, tired but sharp. The kind of eyes that have seen every lie before it's even spoken. Laura's team went first. They played the hits, abandonment, emotional instability, lack of contact. Said I'd opted out of the family ecosystem. Called my exit a dereliction of paternal responsibility. They read a letter Tom supposedly wrote. Said he was scared of how quiet Daddy gets. They didn't know I'd already talked to Tom. Didn't know we built Legos together 3 nights before. Didn't know I had his real handwriting on a Father's Day card that read, "I miss your pancakes. Mom burns them and says it's the pan's fault." I didn't smile. Didn't flinch. Then my lawyer stood up and pressed play on the footage. Doorbell cam. Laura sobbing. Wedding album. Screaming into silence. Then the voicemail. You could hear her voice break when she whispered, "I think I broke something." In him. The room shifted. Laura's lawyer objected. Judge allowed it. Then came the screenshots, mom forum posts, messages, the staged intervention discussion. Then the kicker. The CPS report. Filed the week before. Anonymous tip. Welfare check confirmed. Tom, bruises on upper arm. Claimed he fell. Tom had a mark on his arm, said he fell. Ellie seemed withdrawn and wasn't eating well. And Laura's friend had some trouble with the law in the past. Judge asked one question. Ms. H, did you know about his record before he moved in? Laura hesitated. Then nodded. And just like that it was over. Temporary custody granted to me. Supervised visitation for Laura pending full investigation. I didn't cheer. I didn't even breathe until we were back at the apartment. Tom ran to the kitchen and opened the fridge like it was a treasure chest. Ellie curled up on the couch and watched the same movie she used to fall asleep to when she had nightmares, The Iron Giant. I sat in the hallway, knees pulled to my chest, and let it hit. They were mine. Not like trophies. Like survivors. That night, Laura called me from a blocked number. I let it ring. She left a voicemail. It wasn't rage. It was worse. It was sweetness. Manipulated tone. Like she was trying on old perfume. Maybe we could try again. You're the father of my children. Don't you miss the quiet Sunday mornings? Don't you remember how we used to be? And then, her final words. I still have the necklace. From our honeymoon. You said it meant we'd always come back to each other. She didn't know I'd pawned that necklace a month after the intervention. Used the cash to pay for Ellie's therapy. I didn't delete the voicemail. I archived it under proof of pattern. Because she'll try again. People like Laura don't end, they reboot. She'll find a new story. A new man. A new version of herself. And one day she might show up again. Wedding album under one arm. Tears loaded like weapons. But I won't open the door. Because here's the truth. This was never about revenge. It was about silence. Not the kind she gave me. The kind I gave myself. The silence to listen to my own thoughts. My own worth. My own story. And when I finally spoke, it wasn't loud. It was surgical. And now? Now she lives in the echo of that silence. Not me. Not the kids. Just her. Alone. Talking to ghosts. Edit 1. For those asking, yes, Tom and Ellie are doing better. Still work to do. Still nightmares. But they laugh now. Out loud. That's more than we had for years. Edit 2. No, I won't post photos. This isn't a flex. This is a warning. Emotional abuse doesn't always leave bruises. But it leaves maps. And you don't have to follow the one they give you. Edit 3. If you're still with someone who makes you doubt your own worth in front of your children, leave. Not for you. For them. They're watching. Even when they don't speak. Especially then.